everybody's now 7:13 p.m. on the East Coast side. Mama Candy's tired. I'm sleepy. Today was busy morning. Oh, day, Monday. Oh, yeah, I'm sleepy. As soon as I got home, I didn't cook. I just had my leftover ribs from Texas Roadhouse yesterday. And that was it. I didn't want to do anything else. My hubby, he had a gassy tummy earlier today and some bathroom problems. So I told him, rest your stomach. I'll cook tomorrow because I won't be dealing with patients tomorrow. Today was extremely busy. And I got some news. Before I get to my story time, it's not going to be a long stream. It's just a moment of wine because there's other things I like to do. I got to pay some bills. And I want to have some time with God. I want to read some scriptures. And I do want to do a stream tomorrow, a quick stream of something I caught on earlier that I didn't pay attention to the first time when I read the book of Revelations. And there's another part where it shows that Jesus is God, the scripture backing that up. So I'll read it tomorrow, though, I think most likely. Maybe either early morning or sometime in the evening after I finish, cooking or so. But I'm going to first get this Tomasello wine and talk about the news that I got today before I get to my story. And this is I finally got my Tomasello wine, cranberry wine. I love this wine. It may be small, but that's okay because I can't drink like that anyways anymore. Doctor said no. She still won't allow me to have 2 glasses of wine, which is okay. That's fine with me. Hey, I'm just going to put 5 ounces in this and I'm going to, damn. Oh, hold on there. Excuse me. I just need to. Damn. Oh my gosh. 5 ounces. Now, I got to make sure this is measured out perfectly. So, 5 ounces. I think this is 5. No, it needs a little bit more. All right, that's 5 ounces, see? That's 5 ounce wine because it's a little above the 4. So I have a little bits of wine. And what I did was I brainwashed myself a little bit here to think that I'm drinking more than what I really am, but I'm not. This here is a very small wine glass. Look how thin it is. It's really a champagne glass, but I'm just going to use it to split up the wine a little bit. See? So it makes it look like you got a lot of wine, but you really don't. It's a brain thing. It's to kind of mess with your brain a bit. Now, when I'm able to have 2 glasses of wine again, this thing will be going up to here. I'll be filling it up to the top here, and then I'll have a second one because I'll be like maybe up to like 5 ounces or so. But that's when they clear me to have 2 glasses of wine again. It's the best cranberry wine ever. But needless to say, I found out news from my boss. He's retiring. I just knew it. I knew it. I knew that he was going to retire. I just felt it coming because he said that, in January, February, he was going to block off scheduling. He's only going to do procedures for January. There's a lot of people sad and emotional today because a lot, this doctor I work for, he's like an old school doctor. He's been in the workings for over 30 years. He has all of his like credentials on the wall. He starts off like in 1979 and everything. So he's been in practice for a very long time, and now he's retiring. I'm gonna miss them because I worked with them for over a decade, for almost 11 years, and it was like we were like family. This was the best place I've ever worked at, and everybody just gets along. It doesn't matter what's going on; like everybody has each other's backs in there. They were the best employers I ever worked for. They gave great. When I say big bonus checks. Is a bonus check I don't think I'll ever see again with anybody other employer. I mean, they were just awesome. I'm sad, but I'm also excited at the same time. So he's going to be leaving. He gave the news today. So end of December, that's it. January, I don't know. We may be there just to help out, move things out. I don't know if we're going to sell the practice or not. I'm going to miss them. I'm going to miss working where I'm at. I mean, it's hard to find good employees and, bosses that respect you, and appreciate your work. Like I could say they appreciated our work. They always showed it. And so, I'm gonna miss them because they're like we were tight, we were family, and we were like, I'm like, you know what? We're gonna still hang out. We're going to a holiday dinner, all of us. We're gonna get a little drinks. Me, of course, I still can't have anything more than just one glass, but I'm gonna have a little sangria with them, hang out, and we have each other's numbers, and I know the nurse and all of us are still going to stay in touch. My coworker, of course, who I talk to all the time, because we're good friends, But it's a shame, it's happening so fast. I was expecting it to happen like sometime next year, but not this soon. I was like, wow, I didn't know he was going to shut down. So got to look for another job now. I don't know like what the future holds, where I'm going to go next, but I leave that in the hands of God. Like God, bring me to the right place that I need to work at. And just like I prayed to work at a job where I would get along with everybody and people respectful, that's exactly where God brought me. Because I know back in 2014, when I went to do internship, I did internship at a chiropractor's office. And I actually liked it there, but they weren't hiring at the time. So they were only taking like free work. And I had to do a 2-day work shift at a hospital. And I remember I had to assist in a bone marrow biopsy. That was really cool. But I felt bad for the guy because he was awake during the bone marrow. I don't think they put you to sleep because he wasn't asleep. And I saw them pulling out, how they stick the part into your back, they stick into your bone, they pull all the marrow out, and you hear him screaming. I said, oh, and I had to get used to that. So then I took his blood and his bone. You could see like particles of his bone. And I had to slide it on a Petri dish. And it was cool, but at the same time, I felt bad for the guy because I was like, man, I must hurt. I feel bad for people who have to donate their bone marrow or people that have to go through that because they have cancer or certain things. And I really wanted to stay there. And I was in a hospital and they were going to start me off with a good pay and everything. But for some reason, the other girl, they chose her and they said the reason why they didn't choose me is because I seem very timid. And I already told you I'm a very shy person, and in general, especially back then, I was a very shy person and very socially anxious. But I did well because everybody wanted to pick me. The doctors were like, I want her because she takes a lot of initiative. Me, I did people's blood work. I did the bone marrow, assisted in the bone marrow biopsy. And then for some reason, they picked the other chick, But I was kind of glad. I was crying and I was really sad. And I prayed to the Lord about it. I was really upset. And I said, why? But I knew that, there's a reason for everything. And then I found this job. And although they paid less, it started off from the bottom of the barrel, I worked my way up. And I got the best treatment and I got the best coworkers. And the coworker I work for is a Christian herself. And she said before I came there, she prayed for a person to come in that she can work with that would be like-minded. And guess what? Here came I, and we're good friends to this day, me and my coworker. So, it's a good thing, it's like, see how God works. And it's like, the job that wasn't in the hospital that paid less, I end up coming there. And, I end up finding the right coworkers and the right staff members and bosses. And we all have a great relationship together. We're like family. I don't explain it, we were just like really tight. But the hospital, had I gone to work there, I'm going to tell you two things that would have went wrong. Because see, this is how great God is, and he could see all things. One, the two women I work with, I noticed that on the workday shift, when I worked at the hospital, the two girls, I remember it was two African-American girls. One was a medical assistant, the other one was a phlebotomist. And one of them were training me. But I noticed that when the other nice girl came in, she says, hey, hi, if you guys need help, I can train Candace. And she really liked me, the girl. She wanted me to work there. I could get her myself. They were being mean to her for no reason. So then they were playing some old school music. I remember they were playing Michael Jackson's song. And I remember I was watching a girl doing the blood work because I did some blood work too while I was there. And she comes and says, hey, do you need any help? You want me to show you anything? And the girl's like, I got her. They were so mean to her and they were talking about her behind her back. And then I thought about that. So I'm kind of glad I didn't go to work there, because maybe they would have treated me the same way. You know what I mean? Of course, they're training me, but they were the ones that decided who they wanted to hire. And I realized that. And I said, And it seems like every time they got backed up with work and they had no time to train me on some things, they wouldn't ask the other girl for help. The girl comes, I want to help Candace. And she kept telling me over and over again, I really like you. I hope they choose you. I hope you choose you. And I think they heard that. So I hope they choose you to work here. I love you. You know, I feel like you got you take a lot of initiative. Let me tell you, those girls didn't train me on half of the shit that I did on there. And I took initiative to do it myself. And they saw that I went right ahead of them, because they were just sitting there and doing all the work and letting me do a few minimum stuff. So then I started taking it upon myself. So, okay, fine. You don't got time to train me today and you don't want her to help me. I'll do it myself. I picked up the chart, went out, says, ma'am, I said, and I was really timid, but I said, ma'am, and I said the first last names, like, come on back. And I'm just sitting there doing their vitals, everything. And I did it by myself. I took the initiative. Then the doctor in the back needed help with that bone marrow biopsy thing. I went back there myself. I didn't go with that girl, because I was like, I'm not going to wait on her. I want them to see that I'm serious about what I'm going to do. So I was so upset when they gave those two girls the decision, because everybody else in the area wanted me to stay. The doctor's like, I like her. She takes initiative. I like that. She may be inexperienced. Maybe this is her first time doing this, but the fact that she chose to take initiative is what I like. And they were like, I hope they choose her. They left those two girls and they were like, oh, she's timid, so we're not going to accept her. But I'm glad they didn't pick me, because I thought of the attitude they had towards the other girl and the coworkers. And that other girl was so sweet and nice. And I was like, why do they refuse her to help me out and train me? It's just weird. It was almost like they did it on purpose to get back at her. Like, more like, you ain't getting, no. Because you like her, I ain't going to hire her. It was like they were doing things on purpose to her. And I was like, I don't want to work there. I was kind of glad. At first I cried, because I was like, man, that was some good pay there I could start off with. And, it's going back 2014. And I was like, but you know what? It's okay. I got a job. I'm in the field. And that's all that matters. I want to work my way up. Another reason why I'm glad I didn't work at the hospital, because during the pandemic, they were forcing people to do those vaccines. And my office, because it's a private doctor's office, none of us took the vaccine. Not one of the staff members. None of us. We all stood together and said, no. We all stand together. We all were against it. It was like, you're going to have to accept it. And they respected our decision. They were like, no. They said, no, my staff members, not my staff members. None of us regret it to this day. My sister, same thing. She got to school without without that stuff, and got a job. And now there's a lot of people doing that now. A lot of people doing exemptions now. They realize they've been lied to about that shot. And so I was like, see how good God is. He foresees all things. He would have known that would have been a problem for me. See, we may not know all the time why God allows certain things, but then when things hit the fan, like when time goes on, you'll start to look back and says, that's why God didn't bring me here. That's why God didn't allow me to go to this place. Because he's foreseen everything. And just how great God is, that practice did not go down. I mean, everybody was shocked that we stayed open the whole time during COVID pandemic. And everybody stayed healthy and well. I mean, I'm good, I'm thankful for the years that I've been here. And of course, we're going to have a nice party before they leave. But then I thought about it. He's getting old. He's an old school doctor. We still use paper and pen where I work. We don't do all this computer stuff. Like, we have computers, but we don't do everything on a computer like a lot of these advanced hospitals. We still have a scale that you slide, you don't have no digital scale there. No, we and we still write, we still have charts. Somebody walked in one time and said, you guys still using paper charts? It's 2024. This was last year. And I said, yep, doctor's old school. And I'm kind of glad he is, because guess what? Half of the documents we scanned is gone. They messed whoever was in control of the backup system lost all those documents. But guess what? We didn't, because we have it in paper. That's why it's good to keep paper and pen. So I was happy about that. And I know that it's time for him to move on, enjoy his life. This man's worked his ass off. He worked 7 days a week, worked from 8 in the morning all the way to 10 at night every day, was away from his family to serve other patients. worked at hospitals on the weekends, like doing consults, waking up in the middle of the night, people calling him. Some days he was sleep deprived. That was his life. He had friends that he worked with that passed away before they could even enjoy their retirement. And now he's like, you know what? I'm getting old. He says, I need to slow down. I need to take it down, a break. And, even now he works every day. He does procedures, he does visits, he doesn't give himself a break. He doesn't even eat lunch. He just goes straight through. I'm like, so I'm like, he needs this. He deserves a pat on the back for all those years. So although I'm sad, I'm also excited for him, and as well as to see what's next, what God has in store for me. I don't know if God is going to say, Candace, go to school full time into a nursing career, or no, Candace, stay where you are because I have something greater in store for you. I don't know. I only know what God is going to. I only know that God has something in store for me. I don't know what it is. I just know that He's going to reveal something, and it's going to take me by shock. That's all I know. I must say, oh, wow, this is what God had in store for me. That's all I know. Because I know that how God works. He never fails me. He never fails his children. So that's the news today. So we're going to get to the true story time. And it's pretty funny, but it also gets you thinking deep. And it's about a situation with my coworker that I work with, that I'm good friends with. And, me and her are really tight. We talk about everything. We talk about life, positive things, a lot of things that I actually talk about and self-reflect on these live streams. I actually talk about with her, so that's how common we are in our thinking. And she's actually been the type of person that, like if I need advice on something, like for instance, if there's someone I think is fake to me, or like, let's say I have a situation where I'm not sure of somebody and I just need her advice and have her listen out, hear things, she'll give me her opinion, or she'll tell me the truth about things, and same vice versa with me. So, a lot of times, I got a lot of good advice from her on things, and she's pointed out a lot of things that I need to see about somebody or certain things. And I appreciate her for that. One day, this is going back 2024, last year. This is crazy. I can't believe we did this. I mean, she told her stream, because she does a streaming service off of YouTube. She's on a different streaming service. It's a whole different platform. But she told the people in her crowd about this, and they were laughing. They were like, what? Did you guys really do that? Well, let me tell you, she came to work one day. She lost her phone, her iPhone. I'm like, what? And you don't want to lose your iPhone. Like nowadays, you lose stuff and you got all your personal information on there. So she's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I do? She's freaking out. And I'm like, oh man, like you got to get that phone, right? So iPhones, I don't know if this is for everybody's iPhone, because I've never owned an iPhone. This is the phone I have. I have a Nord 200 broke down thing. I've had it since, 3 years ago. And it's slowing down. I got to get a new phone soon. But her iPhone, she's able to track things, right? So she went online. She went on the some kind of app or something online. I watched her, and she was downloading something on there where it shows like where the phone is at to track it. So it shows the street, it shows the streets, the things nearby, and she sees her phone. Like, how it lights up, you see where it's at, the tracker says, oh, there's my phone, it's there. Guess what? We see the phone moving. So, oh, shoot, somebody got her phone. So, no, someone got my phone, Oh, no. It's like, they need to get my phone back. So, you know what I did? She's like, oh my gosh, she's freaking out. I said, I'm about to call your phone. She says, yeah, but it's gone. They're moving. Look, they're moving around. I said, that's okay. I called this person off my phone, right? Every time I kept calling, they were just hanging up. Every time. Boop. And I kept, oh, hell no. I went and picked up again, because this was on a Tuesday. And see, back last year, we had patients on Tuesday afternoons. But see, we had 2 hours. So we were sitting there, and I was calling. And he just kept answering the phone, hanging up. Boop. And I just kept doing it. I just kept doing boop, boop. I just kept doing it over and over and over and over again. Then I started texting the phone. Answer the phone now. Then I answer the phone. I say, I see you. And we start putting the street that this person was walking with the phone because we can see where they are. I said, you're on this street. I said, I'm going to get you. I say, I'm calling you. I mean, I made probably about over 70 calls to this person. And then eventually, when they started seeing me texting them crazy stuff saying, I'm about to call the police. I see you on this street now. Get us on the phone now or else. You know, they're like, like putting these like big, long like letters and threatening him. I'm gonna come up there. And then I kept calling the phone. So then after the 50th call, because we were like for an hour just sitting there just calling and harassing this person. I mean, we had a right to. I said, answer this. I said, answer the phone. And, he picks it up. And then I hear the person in the background. This time they didn't hang up. And I said, where are you? Where are you? I see where you. I see the street. You're right here, right now. I said, do you want the cops to come get you? And he's like, and the guy had an accent. He sounded like he was like foreign, like he's Spanish. And he's like, I said, where are you? I said, give her back my phone. Give her back her phone. I said, yeah, if you don't give us that phone, I said, the cops are coming. I said, that's it. And then he tries to hang up. So I said, that's it. I'm calling the cops. So then I call the phone again to see if he's going to listen. He picks it up real quick. I said, I see you on the street. I said, you want the cops to come get you? I said, blah, blah, blah. And after the 70th time, my coworker says, she gets on the phone. I think she was speaking to him in Spanish. Yeah, because he didn't really speak like as good English. And she says, she's, asking him, where are you? And I see you on this street and you better give me my phone back or else, I was like, I'm getting in my car right now. Stay on the phone. Stay on the phone. And she's telling him stay on the phone. So we get up, right? Me and her both, because we had about maybe 30 minutes before patients would come in the office. We're in our scrubs and all, right? We about to go gangster style. We go out to the nurse. The 86-year-old nurse is sitting there. What's going on? Because she's funny. She says, what's going on? I was like, we about to go get our phone back. Somebody about to get it. She said, you girls go handle your business. Down patients in here in 30 minutes. She's like, you girls go handle your business. I'll take care of them. They'll be here in 30 minutes, but if you guys got to do what you got to do, I'll be here. Me and her both ran. I got into her car. She got in that car. She sped off. We drove all the way down to the city part, the bad part near the job, where it's like kind of like the hood. So we didn't call the police. No, we just took matters in our own hands. We chased this dude out, and she was on the phone still with him. He's like, don't you dare get off this phone. Don't you dare get off this phone. You hear me? He was speaking in Spanish to her, and I don't know everything they were saying. But, she was like, then she talks to me in English. Like, yeah, he going to give me my phone. I'm about to kick somebody's ass. But we're in our scrubs. We're like, guess what? He about to give me my phone back. We're driving down there. We have about 50. By the time we get there, it's like 15 minutes into the ride. We have 15 minutes left to go to the office. And we get there, right? And she says, where are you? Where are you parked at? And so he tells us that he's parked up near a bus stop. So we looking around, we don't see him, and we turn around, and she was like, anything could have happened to us. He could have had a gun, anything, but we just kind of I went to my Brooklyn mode. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, and she went into her Philadelphia mood. And we're just like, we better get my phone back. I'm about to kick somebody's ass. You better get my phone back. We weren't worried about guns or nothing. It's like he gonna need a gun. Okay, we got up. We saw him. He was sitting there waving his hand, right? He had her iPhone. It was her phone with her cover. And she slams the car to the side. She gets out of the car like, where's my phone at? She's ready to kick his ass. And he's like, yeah. He gave it to her. He's like, I should whip your ass. She went snatch your phone out. I should whip your ass. And I'm sitting there looking at him like, like, what is wrong with you? You taking her phone? And he was just sitting there like timid, right? So I should whip your ass. So he's sitting there like this. And I noticed the way he was dressed. The way he was dressed looked like he didn't have, stuff going for himself. Like, I felt kind of bad afterwards. So, what happened was she was like, I should whip your ass, and we were just sitting. I was like, whoo. And I looked at him, and I looked at his character and his demeanor. And I didn't feel so intimidated by him. I started feeling bad for him. So he asks us, like, do you have any money? And she says, money? I shouldn't. It's like, I'll give you $3. And she, I think she gave her $3. And then I felt really bad for him. And something told me like I think he was down and about. And so I went to my bag. I grabbed everything I had. Like, I grabbed as much dollars, and me and her, I just put it together. I said, here, give it to him. And she was, okay, he's like, he don't deserve nothing. She gave it to him. She's like, here you go. She's like, you better be thankful I didn't call the police on you. She's like, you better make this a lesson. And he was just sitting there like, oh, I'm sorry. We get in the car, and I drove off, and I said, I feel kind of bad. I think that guy is, probably you don't have anything. Like, he just looked really down, like clothes not dressed, not in the best shape. He didn't look too good. I felt really, really bad for him after that. I mean, yeah, we made it back on time to the office to see patients. We were running up in there sweating, like, like we didn't let nobody know we were ready to go come after somebody. But I felt so bad. Like, once I saw him in his face and saw the way he was dressed and everything, it made me like, although we were pissed with him, we didn't call the police or nothing. We just kind of brushed it under the rug, took matters in our hands. We, I felt so bad afterwards. I was like, I don't know what that man's going through. So I just said, here, let me just give this to him. Because then that would have been on my conscience all day long, And she told her friends, I got my phone back. No way. How did you do that? She said, my coworker harassed the dude and called him like 7 times. I'm about to kick his ass. I snatched that. She snatched her phone. One day I'll have to get her on here so she could tell you, because I think she'll say it better. She'll tell the story better than me. Yes. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we did that. We went nuts. I mean, no cops involved, nothing. And we didn't call the cops. I wasn't trying to ruin anybody's life. We were not trying to do that. But we were like, we hope you learn your lesson. Because there will be a day you'll do that. You really are going to get arrested. And somebody's going to really put you in handcuffs. But, we all sometimes fall short, make mistakes. I hope that maybe after that situation that it would have been a wake-up call for him to see mercy and grace. And that's what was bothering me, was that, I saw his situation and, I felt something about him. And I just said, here, give him some money. I said, because I don't know his situation. I don't know, he looked like he didn't eat or something. And he looks, like, I don't know, drained or something. I don't know how to explain it. I just felt really bad for him. And now people may sit there and prejudge and say, I can't believe you guys just, let him get away. And I can't believe you guys gave him money. What if he was a drug dealer? Well, what if he wasn't? You get what I'm trying to say? We don't know everybody's situations. You know what I mean? We don't know. I don't know. He might have been a hungry man, homeless. I don't know. There's a lot of homeless people out there that's suffering and got money, can't eat and stuff. I don't want to assume that everybody that's on the street looking dressed a certain way is a homeless person. Because was I on drugs when my family was homeless? No, my family wasn't on drugs, but I bet you 10 to 1 people probably thought that, so it's like, I don't like that. So I had some compassion, like that. My soft side hit me, and the Brooklyn side came out, it went down and left me. And I went from, I was like, oh, and I just felt like something just hit my heart, like a compassion and grace. I believe that's the Lord's love right there, just kind of softening my heart, like, because I don't know what that person's going through. I don't want to just prejudge people, and say, oh yeah, he's a drug dealer. He probably, but the fact he asked us after we took the phone, she snatched the phone from him, and he was just sitting there like, you guys have any money? He's just looking desperately around. I don't know his situation. I don't know if he's he needs to get home or get somewhere. He ain't got no money to get on a bus. I didn't know the situation. I don't know if he's hungry, because he looked kind of thin. I'm looking at him. He looked frail and thin and like he's tired or something. So, I don't want to assume that everything's a drug situation, and that would have been, if I didn't give him that money, I would have gone home feeling very guilty. That would have really bothered my conscience, So, that was the story behind that. I thought it was something really cool to share, not just in the sense it's funny and crazy, but it's also a story to get you deeply reflecting on things, because sometimes things happen for a reason. Like, I don't know, maybe he needed money and people were just prejudging him and like, oh, F off, get out of my way, and maybe he really was hungry. Maybe he needed something. Maybe he needed money for the bus fare to get somewhere, to point A to point B. Like, hey, buddy, I need a place to stay. Can you help me? It's like, well, if you can get on the bus and catch it, you can come stay at my house. You know what I mean? I don't know the situation. You know what I mean? So, something hit my heart to feel like a compassion for this person. And so, I was like, I wasn't trying to ruin his life or nothing, because I understand we all fall short. That can happen to anybody. Sometimes things happen where we get into temptations and we do things and we don't think. But I hope that that situation wasn't just only a situation for him to learn and to know, like, hey, I got fortunate. Next time I may not get so fortunate. But also, I hope that was a way for him to see some kind of love and compassion. Because, like I said, you don't really know a person. You don't know what they're going through, what's going on in their mind. But the spirit, I felt a low spirit. I felt somebody who was down. And I don't know, maybe would he have sold her iPhone? Probably, because I don't know. Again, now people may say, that drug, what if he's on drugs? Again, what if he's not? We can't just make it seem like everybody's on the streets on drugs. We don't know people's situations. Right now, into the year 2024 and 25, let me tell you, there's a lot of people on the street that's homeless. Okay, they work their ass off. They bust their ass paying, like working 2 jobs, and they're still homeless because the way things are today. So I don't want to sit here and prejudge anybody, because it could be me again in the streets, and I don't want people prejudging me and saying, oh, man, that girl's probably on drugs. I don't want that to ever happen to me. So I don't wish that on my enemy at all. Like, so, but it was funny though, the story, like how we were like jumping up, ready to jump in a car and no cops involved. We were just doing it Brooklyn, Philadelphia style. Scrubs. He didn't need the, I said, go need the police. So you talk about us call the police, you gonna need the police. At the time we were pissed off. Oh my gosh, my Brooklyn gangster side came out. Oh my goodness. I mean, it was crazy. She came out of the car, she was like walking up like, snatch a phone. She'll whip your ass. She was coming out there trying to drop this dude down. But we had compassion after that. We were like, okay, we're gonna leave him alone. We're not gonna call the cops or nothing like that. And it's like that, really like that in the city. A lot of certain places, some people don't get cops involved in things. It's more like, look, we're going to settle this ourselves. Okay, we don't want to have to go there. But you may be calling the cops before me, because you may need one. You may need the ambulance too. You're like, that's how they were like in the city. Snitches get stitches. So you that stays in your head. You're like, you don't want to be a snitch. You don't want to be somebody who's out there snitching on everybody, everything. Half of the time. That's like the last resort thing. Oh my gosh. I mean, we could have gotten shot up or whatever. It was like, we weren't even scared. Like, we just keep up there. We like, she's getting out the car. He was just like, oh, shoot. And she just pulled up to the side of the road, whatever, I mean, that's what happened. One day I'm going to have to get her on here, because she'll tell you probably a better version of the story than me, because maybe she'll tell you some things I forgot about, because there was so much that happened in that short period of time. I just remember just calling this man about 70 times. It was ridiculous. They thought that she wasn't gonna get her phone back, but we did. It was like, y'all gotta get your phone back. Co-worker harassed and threatened him, and I came up there and sped my car off. The streamers couldn't believe, the people on the stream couldn't believe it. They're like, what? No way, It was funny though. I mean, what's the chances you getting your phone back like that? I mean, well, when you can track somebody down, tell them, and see them where they are and stuff, yeah, they'd probably be frightened to death. You just better hope they ain't somebody that got a gun or a weapon on them. But we weren't even worrying about that. We just, at that point, that I think we kind of went into that city style kind of thing, and that was it. It's like, that we'll get our phone back. And we kept threatening, the cops are coming out. If you don't pick that phone, if you hang this phone up, the cops are gonna be right there. And we kept telling the cops gonna be there, but we just came there, snatched the phone, and then I felt bad after that when I saw his demeanor and how he looked. I said, oh boy. I said, I feel so bad. I mean, I'm glad we got the phone back, but I feel bad, in the sense of like, you can't help it, Mama Kenny got a big heart, I guess I can't help it, Oh boy. But that was something. So that's my true story wine time there that I want to share with everyone. I said it wouldn't be a long stream. Drink the rest of this because I do want some time with God. and I do want to read some scriptures. And like I said, tomorrow I'm going to be coming up with some, with a time to do this Bible study. I want to make it quick. And there's just a lot of stuff I want to share. This stuff about like biblical history. There's so much to read in that Bible. So it's just amazing. There's other true stories I can tell, but I think it goes too deep and personal. And, as I gotten older, I've learned that some things are best left unsaid. So some things I don't think I could ever share because it just goes too personal and too deep. It may be disturbing for some people, some things I will have to say. So I don't want to go too deep into certain stuff. I could talk about some things like from my early childhood when I was 3. I can really go into that next time. some funny stuff and crazy stuff, that's not too deep and personal. Some things are just left best unsaid and you just take it to your grave. This is one of those type of things, like you're like, oh, I think I should just take it to my grave. But yeah, I've learned that. So, an old saying from an old man that passed that I know of. He says, never tell people your business, not even your own best friend. He told me that. Now I'm starting to understand why he said that a lot more. But take care. God bless everybody. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Take care and bye-bye.